In this video, I'm going to share with you my top tips to better decision making. Hi, my name's Laura Evans, helping people like you to unleash their potential in business and life. And if this is the first time that you found me here on YouTube, then please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified every time we release a new video. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can be inclined to make a mountain out of a molehill. Indecision is, in my view, in many instances worse than wrong or bad decisions. Now, I'm not here talking about big decisions that have a significant impact on life and things like that. Clearly, they're really big decisions. But we all make thousands of decisions every single day. And sometimes some of us are inclined to make mountains out of molehills. Now, part of this is completely understandable because if we think about how the mind works, it's entirely possible that we can have what we call conflictual thinking. Part of us wants to do it. Part of us doesn't. Part of us sees the benefit, part of us sees the risk. And your unconscious mind is programmed to protect you at all cost. But the problem is this hesitation and this fear that often stops us acting, holds us in a state of indecision. Now, you'll often hear people talking about the weight of the decision. And if you've got a big decision to make, it can feel really heavy. And a lot of people don't realise the heaviness that they're feeling in their body until they've made the decision and feel the lightness that comes after having made that decision. So how do we make better decisions? So my first top tip is, how do you best process information? Are you someone that prefers to think out loud? You like to talk to other people, use them as a sounding board? Are you the type of person that likes to process information internally? Now, this is in NLP referred to the information processing metaprogram, and you need to play to your strength. Some people are much better off on their own, weighing up the pros and cons and then making the decision to act. Others want to bounce things off other people. So what's your preference and how do you best make decisions and play to that strength? Now, one word of caution: if you are an external processor, which I am, be careful who you talk to because everybody's got their own agenda. So make sure that you're talking to somebody that is completely impartial, someone like a coach who only has your best interests at heart and no ulterior motive. My second top tip is simply to decide and take action. Honestly, I promise you, in 9 times out of 10, the indecision, i.e. the heaviness of this anxiety, this stress, this heaviness of not making a decision, is worse than the decision itself. Now, I just want to read you a quote by a guy called Hunter Thompson. Now, in this quote, he says, "A man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance." Now, in NLP, we have something called the cause-effect equation. And you are either at cause, taking responsibility for your actions and circumstances and moving forward from there, or at the other end of the dimension, you're at the effect side of life, at the effect side of something or someone else, usually fear or negative consequence. And here's the thing: for every hour or every day that you don't make a decision, you are much more likely to be at the effect side, which is not the best place to be. As this quote clearly says, your indecision may well mean to circumstances around you taking hold. How many times have you delayed making a decision and then found out it's too late? That's worse to me than making the wrong decision now. Now, to be clear, what is a wrong decision? You see, this is open to interpretation because here's my view. And do let me know in the comments below. If you disagree or agree, let me know. But you see, the thing for me is most adults have the cognitive ability to evaluate situations. And sometimes we just overanalyze. And the truth is, make a decision and move, because if it transpires that that decision was in fact not the best decision, you have the ability to change course. Accept and be less judgmental of yourself. You will make the best decision you can with the information that you have available at that time. If more information comes to light, then it is absolutely your prerogative to change your mind and make a different decision. View decisions as something that are in flow rather than a decision which is concrete and cannot be changed. You are always able to change your mind. So I believe a decision is better than no decision and that time of indecision. I hope that makes sense. Now, my third top tip is stop shoulding on yourself. We always have a laugh in the NLP training room about this. Lots of people motivate themselves to take action, to decide to do something because they believe they should. Now, the problem is the word should, for those of you trained in NLP, you'll know from a linguistic perspective, that's an effect side word. And what that means is that you are putting cause outside of yourself, i.e. you can challenge a I should decide by saying, well, who says? And so when you're at the effect side, you're at the effect of something or someone else. You need to decide that it is your responsibility and that you are going to make the right decision for you. Now, this is critical because so many people make decisions for everybody else. And the truth of the matter is those types of decisions often don't work because you think you've made the right decision for everybody else. And then it transpires that's not what they wanted after all. You don't understand everybody else's values and beliefs and goals and objectives in life, but you know your own. And so I'm always a massive advocate of make the right decision for you. Now, if you struggle with saying no to someone, let's say you're in a situation where you have to decide whether or not you're going to go out for a dinner party, you really want to say no, but you're likely to say yes because you don't want to upset anyone, then check out up here this guide on how to say no, because so many people have commented on how great they think that video and guide is, so go and check that out if that applies to you. Now, I've got a bonus tip here for you today, and it comes from our Master Practitioner program, and it's called Cartisian logic. Now, don't get too hung up on the label, but what it is a model to help you think things through to enable you to make the best decision for you. Now, there are 4 questions which you're going to see here on the screen that you can ask yourself. Now, before we do, and I just want you to understand that some of these questions might not at the face of it seem very logical. But if you hold in your mind a decision you need to make, and as you're thinking of that decision you need to make, you ask yourself these 4 questions. I wonder whether these 4 questions are going to help you get new insight, new information, and ultimately be able to go ahead and make that decision. So if you are in the middle of making a decision now, why don't you hold that decision in your mind as we go through these 4 questions? What would happen if you did? What would happen if you didn't? What wouldn't happen if you did? And what wouldn't happen if you didn't? Now, you're probably going to have to pause this video and consider them. But this is Cartesian logic. Now, it was created a long time ago as a way of thinking things through. So there are 4 quadrants, and there's the theorem, and there's the converse, and I forget the label of the other one, and then there's the non-mirror image. Listen, I don't want to bore you with the technicalities of this, but what I can tell you is thinking about things from 4 different angles may well provide you with insight. And then when you have the insight, please don't use it as an excuse not to make a decision. This is about making a decision. I promise you that the more you delay the decision, the more stressful it's going to become, the more anxious you're going to become, and the more difficult it's going to be. And I promise you that 9 times out of 10, the decisions that feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders are in fact not such a decision. Now, if it is a really big life decision, then clearly you need to think this through. But most of the decisions that you and I make every single day, those thousands every single day, most of them are not those big life decisions. So my advice to you is quite simple. Make a decision to act. Know that you are more than capable, and give yourself permission that if it turns out that decision wasn't exactly the way you thought, or it turns out to perhaps be the not most effective decision, then you give yourself permission to change your mind, because you can do that. I really hope that these top tips help you to become better at decision making and become less indecisive. If you're really interested in sorting out your conflictual thinking and improve your decision making, then you really do want to consider coming and joining our NLP practitioner course, because you're going to absolutely love a technique that we have called parts integration. It is designed to help you get rid of the conflictual thinking where you feel torn, where you feel like you're being pulled in two different directions. And it's the most amazing NLP technique that will help you to resolve some of that conflict, leaving you free to make a better decision. And when this conflict is at the unconscious level, we have to have a technique that helps us to resolve that at the unconscious level. So check out the NLP practitioner course in the description below. And aside from that, I really hope my top tips today help you. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're notified when we release our next video. And just before I go, if you've got a topic you'd like me to do a video on, be sure to drop a comment below and let me know. It would be my pleasure to do a video to help you out with a challenge or problem that you have in your life. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.